All right, getting ready to set the pump rotor clearance up on Michael's pump. Over here on the granite block is some shim stock. That's how I've been doing it prior to getting a hold of this tool here. The old method was to take the rotor and put it on the shim stock and flip the pump over on top of it and then go down through it and make sure the rotor moves freely. This was 3, 2, 1.5, and 1/1000th, with 3 being excessive, 2 being on the edge, 1.5 being ideally, and 1 kind of tight. Looking for 1.5 thousandths on the slide, which is this, and the rotor. Of course, the best compromise because nothing's perfect. Here's the chart, which talks about all the rotor thicknesses. Here's a test rotor that is was measured, but the mic went off, but it fell within this range here. Here you see some rotors and some slides that I've got to pick with. Here's good old-fashioned 7 vane. I've got some 10s. I got a few 13s. This is a 13, which I would never use, but you always hold on to things. This one down here is a 10. It's not marked USA, so I have a feeling it's aftermarket. It's the one that was in here, so we're going to measure it up, see where it sets. So here's the tool, and it's a real simple tool. It's just steel block with a dial indicator, and we zero it out on the pump body, which you see it's zeroed. And then I'm going to zero it, which I already have, on all 4 corners. I'm going to divide it up into quadrants. This will check the pump, make sure the pump is actually flat. It's not going to taper. This pump is flat within half a 10,000th, so that's pretty good. That's nothing I can correct here. I don't have the machining and stuff to do, so there's probably a lot out there running worse than that. So the next step is to measure the slide, and you can see the slide is about a half a thou, maybe a little less in the pocket. And there's the pump rotor, which is about little over 2. So my opinion, this could be ran, even though I'd like to see it tighter. So what I would do is I would pick through the pile over here. Rotors and slides are match sets, but unfortunately right now you're just picking the best 2 to get it there. So what also you can do is you can move it around. So let's see, there's number 4, so let's move it over to number 1 and see if it's the same. Okay, I'm over at number 1, and we're pretty much the same, so let's move over to number 2. Here's number 2, and that's where you can see this pump's got a little bit of taper in it. It's not the rotor, it's the pump. That would be ideal if the whole rotor was like that. That's 1.5. That's fantastic. And here you see even more evidence of the taper, as it is at a little less than 1/1000th. This pump has been running, and it looks like it was okay. There's no real scoring in there. All that is superficial. So I could put it back together, and it probably would be okay. Here's the stator. Stator's already been prepped. It's got a Sonax O-ring boost valve in there. Little minor scoring there. That's nothing that's going to affect anything. So basically, this pump could go back together and it could run. It didn't have the billet slide rings, so I'm going to put those in there, and that's probably what did the scoring. So there you go. This is how you set a pump up. This is what it takes to be intricate. You have to pay attention to detail because it's tight. Remember, when it gets hot, it's going to expand. So if I have 2/1000ths cold, when I get hot, I could have 4, I could have 5. That's why when it's hot, pressure might drop down to 260, 270 versus 300, 310 when it's cold. That's just how it works. That's why you have to check all this stuff.